How's it going, everyone? It is Reversal Trader King, and I just want to give an update to all my members and that are watching, and in the mainly for the premium Discord members. I want to give an update strategy on that what I think is the best, in my opinion, for this system. As you can utilize this any way you want. You know, you can day trade it. You can use it a lot of the ways that I've showed before. That it has been very successful. But I want to narrow it in the best single strategy to use this and how to avoid a lot of false signals and make money consistently, right? Because as we're growing in my Discord, you know, there's a lot of personalities and a lot of people just go all in on some plays and they're just like, man, this sucks and it's hard to cover. So I want to be very picky because if you do this right here, your win ratio, I don't want to be like too confident, but it can be over easily 95%, if you know, very close to 100, if you do exactly what I'm telling you, as this right here is the best strategy into this system that I developed. And there's so many ways to use it, but what I want to talk about is some of the hardest tickers that I came across over time, and I just want to show you guys examples of some large caps and small caps, but it works better on large caps, and that's why I'm going to only alert stocks that are over $1, as you have the most consistency with that, because you don't have all these negative news that could happen if you're under $1 with the compliance and delisting. If you're under 10 cents, we can ignore all that, right? So let me show you exactly what it is. A lot of you people know this strategy already, but just let me go over some of the basics, right? I customize all these settings, and you can get these settings if you're in the premium Discord, so no worries. But the bottom band is, as we all know, is your buy zone, right? The top band is a sell zone for shorting your puts, and the most important is your middle band, and that is where price has to go back to. It will, and it always does. But the million-dollar question is, when does it do it? And that's what I'm going to focus on. Okay, so the updated strategy I'm looking at is, one, we're going to look at the time distance. It helps a lot to know if price is going to go back. To me, it makes a lot more sense to trade when there's bigger gaps. So you see on Dollar General, this is Dollar General, there's a big gap right in here. I remember trading this twice. It was one in here and one down in here. So there's big gap right here, and we can look at the touches of the middle band. That is the most important thing. We look at 519, 2023, and we're looking at we get a touch at 622. So if we know it has to touch, and we just look at a bunch of stocks and we look at some of the gaps, 2-month time frame is super long for a stock to touch. So we can look around 1 month to see if it's still under a band or in a buy zone to, you know, get in, right? Well, this one was kind of easy because obviously we can also look at the weekly. I always look at weeklies too. And if you see like a clear penetration of the weekly candle, that is a nice indication of, you know, the buy, plus the daily that is penetrating, which was over here. So we saw the weekly in the daily, and this was a bunch of accumulation, and it just went back to the middle band, right? But not every trade is going to be as easy as this one. But what's nice is nice gap. But what if we have a bigger gap? This is the trade. Honestly, I probably would have just avoided this one, because if we're doing it based on the best gaps, right in here, we have a touch at 816 and 1013. That is almost 2 months time frame. Like I said, 2 months is a very long time. So if we look at 816, and let's just add a month. So go 916. So if we go to 916, we're looking at right in here. Well, let's look at the weekly candles. This is why I said it was one of the hardest trades, because a lot of the times the weekly should be a nice indication. And yes, if you bought it right in here, you'd be up a lot. But nobody likes to go from like 114 all the way down to $100, because that is a lot of pain. And yes, we know it's going to go back, but you don't want to be under all that stress, right? Especially Dollar General, we knew that it was going to go back. But yeah, the weekly was clearly under right in here. Right in here, right in here, right in here, and right here. It did 4 touches for a whole month. It went under, and then it finally went back up, right? So I knew it was going to go over, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of these reversals can be very stubborn, even for a big cap stock. So this is why I'm showing this stock, because it is one of the hardest reversals, but I still made lots of money on it because it recovered and made nice moves to the upside. So yeah, so we have a touch right here at 816, very clear touch, and when you see these long lanes of not getting touched, so right in here we have a 928 and 86 right here 816, 916. It's like over a month it has been under this bottom band, so we know, okay, this thing's setting up for reversal to this middle band, because 2 months is super long, as that takes a long time, right? That's kind of really the longest I've seen. So if we are over a month and some change, we need to start looking into this reversal, because this is going to hit the blue band pretty fast. So a month and some change is what I think is the absolute best, right? So 816, 916, and add like 2 more weeks, right? Or a week, something like that. So 816, 916. Let me pull this up. I want to look right on my calculator here. So we're right here, 916, because it was a weekend. Obviously, it's not going to show the 16. And then you have, 2 more weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right around here, honestly, I say probably a month and a week, because this is one of the hardest. But we've seen this many times where we have a 2 month gap of just middle band not getting touched. I don't see anything longer than 2 months, really. I just really, I just don't. I have not seen it, and if it does, it's very rare, and it's going to be like a 2 month and a 1 week time frame, right? So that's the one clear indication of, one, be patient, because you know it's going to go up to the middle band, and if you're selling off in this area on a buy zone, then you're not doing something right. You just got to be patient, right? So this is where you can accumulate massive money right in these candles, because this is the 1 month and some change. And also you want to also go in on a low K, and this is a 4.92. All these. But also keep in mind, a lot of these candles are going up. So you could, I remember trimming a lot of these positions when it was down here. It went up and I trimmed. Goes back down and then goes up. You could be trimming like right in here, goes back down, and then wait for the big move up. But at some point, you got to wait for that big move. Let's go to another stock. APLS, and I also do prefer buying over shorting, and I'll tell you why later. So the same scenario here. We have a touch at 714, and we don't get a touch till, I'm going to say, right in here was the touch. It went way beyond. So 823. This was not clearly a touch, but it will touch it, and it clearly went above it at 823. So this is APLS. For some of you guys that know this ticker, this thing had a massive move down on some things that were causing some injury, it's like blindness, some potential blindness. I remember this way back here. But I traded this thing, still made massive money because I stuck with the plan, right? And you look at the weekly, same thing. Like, you wouldn't think a weekly could go under, but it did, just like how Dollar General, not as bad as Dollar General, but it went under. But even if you took the weekly, this is how powerful a weekly is. Even if you took it, yes, you had some pain, but it shoots right up, because the weekly does have to touch the middle band too, right? Just takes longer. So right in here, we have our thing at 714, and we have a touch at 823. You notice the currents. Over a month, we're touching the middle band. 2 months is pretty long. So around 1 month and like 2 weeks, we're usually touching the middle band. Usually touching it. I'm not going to say always, but usually. So if you see large, and that's why I say I never trade the first red candle, because a lot of people are getting lured in on this first candle, the second candle, the third, and oftentimes for 2 weeks straight. So oftentimes you want to let sellers win and let it die out for a bit, right? And then also you want to know if there's earnings. You never buy earnings. Right here was earnings, and then it tanks some more. So do keep that in mind. So right in here is the area to accumulate, and you just keep accumulating until it goes back up to the middle band. Like I said, guys, these are the hardest trades too that I've went against. So these aren't easy trades. NEP was another one. Same thing. You see how it's way under the band? If you would have bought it right in here, you'd be pretty messed up. And the reason why is technicals don't matter when there's terrible news. When there's terrible news, it goes way beyond the ATR levels. And I had these set up at, pretty oversold ATR level. So if it goes below it, it's pretty oversold, but it doesn't matter when the news is so bad. These can go to like 8 ATR. These are at 4 right now, so it's insane. So we have it right here. This is how powerful this is. 926, 1026, or 1025. Literally, within a month, we touched the middle band. So if we look at getting in, we should wait, honestly, a week or two to look for stabilization, and then a low K, like right in here is a 3. You see right in here also, we wouldn't got in because of the K alone with our new strat. 16, 11, 9, 6, 6, 4. Ks are getting super low right in here. You can accumulate and, change it out for 7% here, goes back down, change it out for 7. But then again, you have to realize we're going to hit this middle band around that 1 month, 2 month time frame. I'm going to show you some small caps. Small caps, so we have a touch here for bets. This is when I made over 100%, 1024, and then we have a touch at 1204. 1024 to 1124, 1124 to 1224 is 2 months, but this is the beginning of the month, so it's about a 1 month and like 2 weeks. So, like I said again, over a month is pretty long. So right in here, so we have a touch right here at 1024, and when we get a touch at 1204, ignore the first big candle all the time. Don't even think about it. If there's a big red candle, ignore it. Especially for Chinese stocks, they're pretty brutal, but you would have ignored it because it's a K of 15. That's way too high. K of 10, you have to look at your K values. Have to look at your K values. You would just ignore it already. So right in here, you wait about 2 weeks. Give it about 2 weeks of let the shorts win, and so then you get in around this area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1 week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How convenient that we're getting in on the very lows right in here, and you can accumulate massive. And then you want to look for a low K. 2.99 is pretty low. I would consider right here a valid trade, and that's where I started accumulating. Obviously, you had to wait 3 weeks, but it's totally worth it because in our minds, it has to hit the middle band. We know that. If we know that as such a powerful tool, so why would we be selling our shares right in here and panicking? You would not be wanting to panic. And if you bought it right in here, we're going up quite a bit here. This was 9 plus another 4. You could probably take that gain and then get back in here on the dips and really just keep going through that. But yeah, that's one of the things is do not let fear get to you, because it may seem so dismal, but some type of news or something, this crap stock went up over 100%, went from 24 all the way to $99 because it had to touch the middle band. It had to do its mission. It's been over a month, and look how big this gap is. Longer the gaps, the faster they hit the middle band. We've seen that over and over. I'm going to show you ticker MOLN, one of the biggest, another small cap that I love trading. Everyone hates this stock, but it's worked perfectly for me. We see this large gap, no touch, but we know it's going to touch. We just don't know when. Is the $1 million question, right? So 502 to 706. This one was one of the longest. So this was a 2 month time frame and like a couple days. But the beauty thing about it is we got a clear signal right in here. So all these candles were ignored, and then I saw this massive gap, and then I saw finally a touch below the band with a really low K. I remember I made a trade right on here, and oftentimes what you'll see is a bottom band touch to a move up. That's what we got. Bottom band touch to a move up. The second bottom band touch is usually the bigger one, right? So bottom band touch, move up. But even if you got in here, you're going to sell off right in here because this was like a 30% gain in here at the top of these. But then we get a next bottom band touch, and guess what? It keeps on giving another 24% right off the bat. Like, you just don't get greedy. And then right in here, it was close enough where I was like, okay, enough is enough. It's been almost 2 months we haven't had a touch. I'm going to accumulate all these shares, and guess what? We go up 70% plus another 29%, and it did 100%. And then bam. And then there's that was it. Yeah. You had this big massive touch. But then, like I said though, even though you have gaps, you don't take the trade just because it has to touch the thing. It has to be at the green band for you to take the trade. So everything has to correlate. this thing just keeps going down and down forever. But it also has lots of spikes for you to get out of. All right, SPY. We'll go even indexes. It works for anything. Even SPY, as you can see, you're having plenty of touches. Right in here, we had a touch right in here, and then we had a long spree of no touches. Well, guess what? In that long spree, we were hitting this upper band. It's been like a month and some change. We take that trade because we know we're going to go down here and hit that thing. So you want to look for longer time frames of gaps with a correlation of an upper band touch or a bottom band touch. This would be a short signal. I personally do not like shorting because there's things called, squeezing, and a lot of the times it goes up higher than you think. If you were going, and I'm going to show you, I had one up here, GoDaddy. This one was probably one of the hardest we've seen, because look at right here, just like Dollar General, but on the flip side, your weekly candle is quite a bit up here, right? But I want to show you the daily. Right here is what matters. You see this big gap right here. Yes, it's going to fill it, and look at these massive gains, you can make from it filling and then some. So we got a touch from 1102 to 102. 2-month time frame. How convenient. This was one of the longest ones compared, just like Mullen, but the only difference is look how much it was above the upper band. That's when it gets hard. So you want to make sure for shorting, be very careful. Just because the weekly is over, do not just take the trade based on that, because if you did, you'd be out of the game for a bit, right? You're just going to be in some emotional pain. You want to make sure over a month and a half, wait for it's clearly above. Wait for it is clearly above the upper band with a high value of 94K right in here. You see how it's 94 right in here. You can take the trade, and I remember I was scalping this thing each time it went up lower the band and it went under, and you can still make some money. But when it gets to very close to that 2-month time frame, you need to hold that till it hits this lower band. As you can see, these candles were getting quite big, and it eventually touched it. I personally don't like shorting because, one, you have to play options. I don't want to short, so you have to play options. Whereas in Dollar General, when it was down here and it had this big gap, you can hold the shares, and you're not paying, one, a borrow fee to short it, and two, you don't have to play options where you have a time decay. You know it's going to touch the middle band. So your odds of winning are so much higher than you think. And everyone's freaking out. And these are good companies. Very good companies. And guess what? The price is way up here now. And, everyone was freaking out when it was like $100 a share. I remember I had Dollar General at $105. It went to $100. Everyone was freaking out. And then, bam, look where it's at now. Because these are stronger companies. And one, if you just wait till that middle band touch, that is your best bet. You always want to sell at those middle band touches, as those are where your money is. But lesson learned is you want to look for the big gaps like these. You see, the bigger the gaps, the better. And do not freak out if it's not working right away in your favor, because it's going to touch that middle band. So the main thing is big gaps. We want to look for time distance. Anything over a month that has not hit the middle band, we need to start looking at it. And that is why I'm looking at ANTX. This trade right here, I'm going to show you because it has not folded out yet. It has not developed and hit the middle band touch. And the reason why I keep harping on this is, one, we have a touch at 209, and we have no touch yet, and it's 313. We know one of the longest touches is 2 months. So 209 to 309 is 1 month, and 309 to 409 is 2 months. So we have roughly like 3 more weeks, two weeks and some change, before this needs to start making its way to this middle band. So our chances of winning are so high right now. We know it's going to happen, and it's looking really good. So I'm showing a trade that has not fulfilled out, and you can look at later on the video to see when it does, because I'm confident it will. Now, granted, this middle band is going to go down as time doesn't touch it. That's the scary part. So you want to have big room. And right now the middle band is at 4.92. Price is at 2.98. There's massive room. There's a lot of room for that, right? So that's the one thing you want to look at. And obviously, you want to play it smart. I'm looking at the K, it is at 43. So you do want to play it smart, but just do keep in mind the main important thing is time distance. When you have not touched it within 1 month to 2 months, it's going to start making its way. And that's what we had right in here at the low 272. It just started making its way up and doing its thing, right? While the middle band is trying to connect to that price point. So that's what I wanted to get out. I know this is probably a little confusing. I do have the other video in my premium Discord of all the settings, so I feel like I don't need to go over all that again. But I just wanted to show you guys time distance. That is the most important thing, because a lot of things people, will see, oh, well, it's below your middle band, but it's not a buy signal, because first you got to look at the K. And that's why the K is super important, because if you look at the first candle, it's a K of 33. We wouldn't take any of these trades. K of 22, and then 15, and then it keeps going down and down. You want to make sure there's gaps, a big gap of not touching the middle band with kind of a low K starting out. But then once the middle band has not been touched, then we can rely just on time distance and then just look for where the price is. We want to make sure price is near that lower band, which it is right now, and just kind of stick within that area. Now, if the price goes up into this black area, I'm not taking that, because I know price can go back down and retest the lower band. So I want to make sure I'm only taking the pricing when it's at the lower band or below it, when it's, over a month time frame. We are over a month time frame on not hitting ANTX, so that's why I'm looking for this trade right here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and obviously this is mainly for the premium members, just to give you an update on the only thing I'm looking for my trades now. As you can see why I like this one, and I'm going to show you another one that has not yet played out, but it will, and that's FWRD. As you can see, we have a touch at 122, and we still do not have a touch yet. I'm not counting this because I got to see a physical touch, and it's at 313. 122 to 222 is 1 month. 222 to 322 is 2 months. We are at over a month, so now I can start looking at this reversal for the time distance for a middle band touch right in here. Obviously, I want to see closer to this green band, so that's why I try to look for an entry as close as that. But I do know this is going to start working its way up, and that's the most important thing, right? So that's what you want to look for, guys, is that, because everywhere in price history, just like in this right here, there's this big gap here of no touches, and guess what? This right here is where everyone panicked, but the people who didn't panic bought all these shares up and made massive gains. This is the areas you want to panic, when it's way under, and you never buy the first couple candles down, right? You never buy the first couple candles when it goes down, because it's too easy for the shorts to short it even more. But yeah, this is what you want to see. This big middle band not getting touched, and that's why I've been really liking this area down here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. For all the premium Discord members, I'm going to put this into the setup video right in here. If you guys want to know the exact indicators, settings, and all that, go to the trading view right in here. I don't want to make a whole new video on that. That was more just setting it all up. But the new one, I'm going to post it in here. And this one is time distance with over a month of not hitting the middle band and hitting the bottom band for a buy. So you want to make sure those two are correlated. Over a month of not hitting the middle band, and then with price hitting the bottom band, and just accumulate the crap out of it till you get that middle band touch. But the nice thing is you can accumulate it with confidence. That's the nice thing. You're not panicking. And with stocks over $1 is we're going to focus on, because you don't have to worry about these notices of delisting and the NASDAQ compliance. There's a lot more issues with stocks that are below $1. And then also the percentages are going to fluctuate as much as... So your motions are going to be more stable. So I hope this, guys, helps. I'm going to put it in here. And also, guys, if you are anybody new watching this, obviously I made this for the premium Discord because I'm updating all the time. Anyone new on this, you also are feel free to join the premium Discord. It is only $6. And I'm going to link that into the YouTube comments and into the YouTube description if you want to join. But this is examples of one of the hardest trades that I have went over, and actually made money, whereas a lot of people have lost money. I countless tickers, Maln, Bets, NEP, APLS, like so many tickers. People have said these are my worst nightmare tickers, and I can even go over Fisk or two of how that actually played out. But it actually works. The bottom band touch with time distance, I really think, over 95% win ratio, you are going to win if you do exactly this stuff with over $1 time distance with the bottom band touch and everything. You will win. I'm telling you. It is literally, I'm not trying to sound super confident, but after doing this strategy so many times, this scenario is where I win all the, like all the time. Now, when I do, kind of my own thing and looking for some, sometimes just under the bottom band, and I just want to get into play with a low K, sometimes that can hurt me, and I get little false signals, and especially with penny stocks, that can be really, hard. But if you do this with larger cap stocks, with the time distance strategy, you will win more often than you think. You'd be really surprised, and you'd be like, wow, I'm feeling on top of the world. And it is great because not a lot of people have this knowledge of, when they're catching bottoms, people are panicking, right? They're panicking when they see price goes down, but when they see price go up, they chase it, and then it goes right back down. Like, the stock market is so emotional. It's so emotional. There's so many things going on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new, feel free to join the premium Discord. It's only $6 a month. It'll always be $6. And if you want to join, go to the YouTube comments, click on the link. You'll be redirected into the free chat. Just click on the premium chat, and it'll opt you to subscribe. And you'll have access to all this reversal trading knowledge on how I like to do it. And I have the whole settings, a whole new video on the settings for TradingView. But this video, I just wanted to talk about the time distance, as I think that is the most important thing in this strategy. And I know I'm being redundant, but it is so important. So if people are asking, are you looking at this stock? I'm just going to be like, looking at this. Where's the gap? How big is this gap? Is it over a month it hasn't hit the middle band? Then yes, I'm loving it. Because there is plenty of tickers. You'll always find at least 1 to 2 tickers that have these gaps, and that's below the middle bottom band, that's looking for a middle band touch. And this is what's awesome. You see this big gap, and guess what? Price rushes up to it. Like, look at these massive candles just rushing up to it. And then some. It goes way above it. So that's awesome. Hope to see you, all the new people in the Discord. And for all the premium members, thank you so much for sticking a part of this system. You're going to love it. I'm going to put this into the setup video down here. And peace out.